So you decided to do something awesome, an off-road triathlon, and you want to make sure you're successful, right? This video will be helpful to all kinds of athletes, whether you're a mountain biker, an off-road triathlete, or whether you've never done any type of race before, because I'm going to give you 8 tips that are very specific to preparing for your first off-road triathlon. Hey, it's Coach Eric, and I am super excited. This is actually the shirt of my first off-road triathlon, and so I think triathlons off-road are the best, and so that's why this channel is dedicated to that. And if you want to hear more about off-road triathlons, hit that red subscribe button. It's totally free. Also free in the comments description, I'll put a link to an off-road triathlon race day checklist to reduce your race day stress that's specific to off-road triathlons. And so let's get into the specific tips of how to prepare for your first off-road triathlon. Number 1 is time. You need at least 10 to 12 weeks to train specifically for the off-road triathlon. And that's really kind of if you're fit. If you're literally getting off the couch watching Netflix to doing this race, I would recommend more like 16 weeks. And there's some specific factors that go into that. But give yourself a chance. If you only give yourself 10 weeks and you're not really in shape at all or prepared, you're really setting yourself up to get discouraged, to make it more difficult than it needs to be, and perhaps not finish when you otherwise could if you just had a couple more weeks of training. So perhaps give yourself more time. But if your time's locked in, you're good to go. 2 is you got to have a plan. How many days a week are you working out? Is it morning? Is it evening? Once a day, twice a day? One of your days off? I recommend 6 days a week with 1 workout a day to start, but you've got to have a plan. There's places you can go on the internet to search for some. I have a free beginner training plan. If you just email me, I'll send that to you. But a plan is very important to keep you on track. 3 is consistency. Consistent training over time is really what helps athletes become successful. So for this off-road triathlon endeavor, you're going to want probably 2 to 3 hours per week. And again, consistency. So it's not really going to be helpful if you do 4 hours one week and then 0 the next week, and then maybe back to 3 and then only 1. Is a time when you want to do what you can, and if there's things that happen, you can't do all your training, that's fine. But you want to be as consistent as possible, especially in those last 4 to 10 weeks as you get closer to the race as you can. 4 is distance. How much are you actually swimming? How far are you biking? How far are you running? I use distance because it's easier to measure, and that's what many people will do, and that's fine. But when it comes to off-road cycling and running especially, actually prefer to use time. But the same thing goes is don't worry about the amount of the speed or how fast you're going, because the off-road terrain is typically a lot slower than the road, both with cycling and running, whereas swimming would be the same. But how far are you going for each is something you're going to want to pay attention to. 5 is specific. You signed up for an off-road triathlon. So as far as swimming, obviously hit the yardage in the pool, but you got to get into that open water at least once, just so you know what it feels like, if not 2 or 3 times or more, depending on your availability, but a minimum of 1 time. And then as far as the bike, you got to get onto those single track trails, get off-road. In fact, even if you ride your mountain bike on the road, at least it's specific to the muscles you're going to be using on the mountain bike, but it's even better if you can take that mountain bike off-road. And then the run, obviously running on softer surfaces, grass, limestone, single track trails, being specific to what you're training for. 6 is a combination or a brick workout, as they're known. You don't need to do these every week, but there needs to be some times where you're combining two different workouts into one. So the most common use of a brick workout is a bike and then run. So you might mountain bike for 45 minutes and then change fairly quickly within 5 to 15 minutes into your running clothes, and then go out for an easy 10 to 15 minute runs, so you can start to feel what it's like to run after you've been biking for a while, so that there's an adjustment there. And the more you practice that, you won't be so surprised on race day, and your legs will start to feel better on that run. But you need to do a combo workout before race day. Number 7 is you need specific equipment. I'll put a link in the upper right to all the things you really need. I won't get into that now. And finally, 8 is mental preparation. So there's so much research on meditation, or even just focused breathing, even for just a couple minutes in the morning, throughout the day, even visualizing being successful at the race. So watching yourself finish the swim, get out of that bike, you finish the bike, you're onto the run. You watch yourself completing that race in your mind prior to doing so, makes you actually more likely to see during the actual race. And again, I'll put a link to another video in the upper right that will help go over some of the mental preparation if you're interested in that. And actually, a quick bonus I have for you here is find a group to train with. So whether that's master swimming, if you don't feel like getting up at 4:45 in the morning, there's 25 other people that are going to be there. They can help hold you accountable, help you be consistent. Or you may even find that they offer a swim lesson. Sometimes just improving your form a little bit is better than trying to struggle through 15 minutes of swimming. That the lesson or two will actually make you faster as you prepare for the first one. With the cycling part and the running, finding a group to train with, not necessarily every day, but maybe even if it's just once a week, to help get you out there for the longer rides, or if it's a trail you're not familiar with, can also be helpful. Check out with your local multi-sport shop for that one. That was the quick and dirty 8 of preparing for your first off-road Xterra triathlon. I hope you found that helpful. If there's things that you have questions about, put a comment below, or engage with the community with things that you found helpful for your first off-road triathlon. If you're interested in any coaching, I'll put a link in my Training Peaks profile below. Send me an email if you have any questions. Good luck in your first off-road triathlon. It's the best. I'm telling you that. New video next week. And until then, I hope to see you on the trails.